Representative Steve King talking about the Libby Schaaf, proposed Libby Schaaf bill, referring to my friend who's the Oakland mayor, who President Trump called out and said should be jailed because she tipped off Oakland residents that ICE was going to conduct a raid on this and investigate and look for illegal aliens in the city. Something that they cities don't have to comply with by law.
Another issue, an issue very close to your heart, the issue of immigration. You've been proposing actual legislation, Congressman, that would jail officials in what are called sanctuary cities here in the United States if they tip off undocumented immigrants about sweeps from ICE, federal officials who are looking for these individuals. And you've specifically named it after the Oakland, California Mayor Libby Schaaf, who alerted residents about a sweep. Here's what Mayor Schaaf told CNN about your legislation. Listen to this.
It is not possible that legislation like that could be legal. Sanctuary city policies are legal policies. They've been well researched. They are within the confines of what local and state jurisdictions are allowed to do. That is part of the beauty of American democracy, a balance between local, state, and federal power. And I can tell you that I know a lot more about what makes my community safe than a Congress member from Iowa.
All right, so let's talk about it. Let's get your reaction. She says what you're calling for isn't legal.
Well, I mean, I'm smiling, and I probably shouldn't be, but it strikes me there are so many things wrong with that statement. She's got to live in another zone, different from me. There isn't this balance about this law. The Constitution of the United States, in which California signs on to, is the supreme law of the land. It specifically says so in the Constitution. You don't get to trump federal law by coming up with an idea at the local level. And however much research she has, we know there are activist lawyers that will write whatever they want, but for 20 plus years, it has been against the law for local jurisdictions to establish sanctuary city policies. And because we have not done an effective job of enforcing that, we've seen this go to some 300 or more jurisdictions around the country with sanctuary city policies. Now an entire state of California is a sanctuary state, and now they're defying federal law, and they believe that they have a state's right to define federal law, not when it's an enumerated power. And so to know that what's more about safety and what keeps the people safe in Oakland over this congresswoman from Iowa, I don't think she has a leg to stand on.
Well, she makes the point. They make the point, as you know, Congressman, that if these undocumented immigrants, these undocumented individuals, didn't feel safe in going to police and reporting about a possible crime, they would just remain quiet, and the communities as a whole would be more endangered if they stayed silent. Your reaction?
Well, she's the mayor of the 10th most dangerous city in the United States of America, which doesn't comport very well with the assertion she knows more than I do about the safety in the streets. And if we enforce our immigration laws, as I have advocated for a long, long time, there wouldn't be illegals there that you would need for witnesses. So I say no, let's apply federal law. And when federal law says that when people who are unlawfully present in America are encountered by law enforcement, they shall be placed in removal proceedings. That's the law. It would clean up Oakland. We had to send federal agents in there because they refused, and they turned them out on the streets. And then she blew the warning whistle off and saved several hundred of them from being incarcerated. How much crime is committed as a result of that? The price for that is paid by the victims of crime, like Kate Steinle.
Congressman Steve King, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Wolf.
There's more news unfolding. The actor Morgan Freeman is now facing multiple accusations of inappropriate behavior.
Yeah, Kate Steinle is, folks, I'm cutting that off because it's not germane to this video, but Kate Steinle is a woman who was shot accidentally by a fellow who was turned out to be an illegal alien. He had picked up a bag that was on Fisherman's Wharf walkway, and unbeknownst to him, the bag had a gun in it. The gun discharged, and it accidentally shot her. So, and it happened in San Francisco, which is a sanctuary city. But what King, he mentions that because it's a political issue, it's conservative, liberal, all that jazz. But my point is that what Representative King fails to note, and anyone out there should be aware of if they know the Constitution, is the president would have to declare an emergency in order for any city mayor or governor to actively follow what the president asks for under those conditions. So obviously Representative King doesn't know the Constitution. So there you go.